Hey everyone, welcome to the Digging Deeper podcast. We're so glad that y'all joined us here today. If you don't know what we do here, the goal is to just dig a little bit deeper into that week's sermon from this past Sunday and just dig into things that maybe we didn't have time to dig into that morning, or maybe some deeper context or some background connections or applications or things like that. Really just whatever we want to talk about, whether it's related to the passage or not, we'll just find a way to talk about it. But we're glad that y'all are here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Chris Brown, and I'm the associate pastor here at First Baptist Hazel.
My name is Jacob Belding. I'm a connections minister here at First Baptist Hazel.
Yes. All right. Well, we're glad that y'all joined us today. Today, we are in our third part of the Passion Week. We're walking through the Passion Week, and this is an exciting passage. Why is this an exciting passage?
Because there's so many different interpretations of this particular passage, Matthew 24 and 25, that it makes it really exciting.
Yes.
It's like, Jesus, what are you talking
about?
And
Lee covered none of it.
I know.
He that might be one of the only sermons on the Olivet Discourse that doesn't get into what's
the Olivet Discourse.
The Olivet Discourse. He did talk about the passage.
For sure.
And he kind of hyper focused on a particular verse, which is applicable to what's going on. We'll get into all that.
Yep.
But yeah, this is Matthew chapter 24 is where we were at this week. And this is, as you said, the Olivet Discourse is generally what's referred to. And this is kind of Jesus' end times unload on them. And it's beyond the passage that we're talking about today. There's other passages that tie into this whole Olivet Discourse. Lots of debate on what this passage means and timelines and all that stuff. And we'll get into some of it. But yeah, that's it today. Lee primarily kind of honed in on what happened with Charlie Kirk.
Correct.
Because this, I guess a week and a half ago now, 2 weeks ago, now is when he was assassinated. And, the question is like, what do we do with that? And luckily, to a degree, it kind of ties into this passage. When Lee first announced that he was preaching Charlie Kirk, he said, Charlie Kirk was assassinated this past week, and did you know that this is like Jesus told us was going to happen?
Yeah.
In this passage, I'm like,
oh, he teased it bad.
Yeah, I was like, who? What? Are you saying Charlie Kirk is prophecy?
Right.
And some do, by the way. But that is not what he was getting at.
Right.
He's getting at in a much more general sense.
A general principle.
Yeah. But anyways, let's read it. Okay. First, and then we'll talk about it. So this is Matthew chapter 24, and Lee started in verse 3.
Yes. All right. While he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples approached him privately and said, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus replied to them, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Messiah,' and they will deceive many. You're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, because these things must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these events are the beginning of labor pains. Then they will hand you over to be persecuted, and they will kill you. You will be hated by all nations because of my name. Then many will fall away, betray one another, and hate one another. Many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. Because lawlessness will multiply, the love of many will grow cold, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. This good news of the kingdom will be proclaimed in all the world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come."
The end. We're done.
Or are we? Verse 15.
Yeah, verse 15. This is where the debate gets into play on that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then, Jesus gets into all this stuff, then gets into the coming of man. People point to this for a rapture passage, depending on your definition of rapture and placement and all that different good stuff. But where is it? Did I pass over it? Oh yeah, there it is, right there. You've got. You can't highlight. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah,
nice.
Like right here, you've got the this is the end of the world kind of description right here. You know, sun be dark and moon won't shed its light, stars fall from the sky, all that good stuff. So basically, they will gather the elect from the four winds. Lots of neat ties to actually Revelation in here, which we can talk all about. But in short, Lee's sermon. Do you want to get into Lee's sermon first, or do you want to get into our deep dive on this passage?
Let's look at the passage first.
Passage first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about this? We'll look at the passage, and then when we get to the part that Lee talked about,
we'll shift.
We'll shift.
Yeah, good plan.
Yeah. Okay. So again, this is the Olivet Discourse. This is Jesus, eschatological, prophetic. How's the world going to come to an end?
Yeah.
And here he mentions multiple things. Watch out that no one deceives you. Coming in my name, saying that I'm Messiah. Hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, earthquakes. If I was a skeptic, and I was to read this, and it's like Jesus is saying, like, okay, here's how you know the end times are here. You know, there's going to be wars, there's going to be famines, there's going to be earthquakes, there's going to be people coming up and saying that I'm the Messiah and whatnot. If I was a skeptic, how would I respond to that?
I'd say, well, those are things that are happening all the time.
Yeah, those are all the time. like what's going on here? And so what do you think Jesus is getting at?
So I think to answer that question, we have to go before. We have to go back to the 3 verses immediately before.
Oh, you want context?
I want context, bro.
Man,
we gotta have the context.
We're not here for context, man.
And so in the greater context, the past couple of weeks we've been talking about the triumphal entry. We talked about the cleansing of the temple. We talked about the Jesus curses the fig tree, right? And so there's definitely a focus on Jerusalem. There's a focus. Oh, man, I'm channeling Pastor this morning.
Yeah.
There's a focus on the temple and how temple worship, the priests are not doing the things that they ought to be doing. There's no fruit in Israel, right? The fig tree is barren, right? And therefore it's cursed. And so Jesus goes and cleanses the temple. Like it's become a house of robbers rather than a place of worship. And so all in line with that, we get the beginning of the Olivet Discourse. So verses 1 through 3 on chapter 24, it says, as Jesus left and was going out of the temple, his disciples came up and called his attention to its buildings. He replied to them, do you see all these things? Truly I tell you, not one stone will be left here on another that will not be thrown down. So what happens is Jesus is chilling in the temple or walking around in the temple, and he's about to leave. The disciples are like, look at all these beautiful buildings. Look how awesome the stones are. Look at this wonderful, majestic temple that we have. And Jesus rains on their parade, doesn't he? He's like, guess what? It's going to all be, it's going to come crashing down, basically. It's not going to be standing. And then later, starting in verse 3, that's when they privately ask him about it. So presumably it's very public. They're like, look, Jesus. And Jesus is like, oh, it's going to be destroyed. And then later they come to him and they want some clarification. So that's the context, right? So really there's 2 things, right, that the disciples ask. The first one is, tell us when will these things happen, i.e. the destruction of the temple. And then 2, what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? So there's 2 questions there, right? And they're somewhat related, but they don't know, right? And this is where Jesus launches off into this big teaching section in Matthew.
And that's where it gets tricky because when is he answering which question?
Yeah.
Or is he answering both at the same time? or a mixture.
Yeah, and that's where the debate comes in. So, in my personal opinion, I think it is pretty clear that he's talking first about the destruction of the temple. So, watch out, no one deceives you. Here's kind of the things that you might expect to see, which is basically the world is going to keep on going the way that it's been going, and these are just the beginnings of labor pains. The time is not yet. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be more bad things that happen, right? Mm-hmm. Persecution. They're going to hand you over. They will kill you. You'll be hated by all nations because of my name. There's going to be false prophets. There's going to be this danger that exists, and part of the danger is being deceived, is falling away, is not enduring to the end, which is where we get this call to endurance that Jesus gives. That's eerily similar to basically all of Revelation, mm-hmm. As far as enduring, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that context is important here when looking at when it comes to the the destruction of the temple. I think that's really what he's getting at, that first section.
So you say this first section is specifically about the temple being destroyed?
Yes. Yeah. That's what I would say.
Preterist view. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Now, would you say solely that, or more of like a bifurcated both and?
Both and.
Both and.
Yeah.
Because what some people have done, and we can't say it's this for certain, but they will connect this passage to the first 6 seals mm-hmm. Of Revelation. And so in Revelation, you've got as the vision of the end times unfolds in Revelation, in chapter 6, you've got Jesus breaks the seals on the scroll, and with each seal something happens. And so the first seal, the white horseman goes out to conquer. Second seal is the red horseman goes out to make war, right? The third seal, is it the green horseman? The pale horseman goes out with famine. The fourth seal is the black one with death. Mm-hmm. And then the fifth seal is the persecution. Sixth seal is the basically the day of the Lord. Like the sun, goes away. The sky scrolls up, or is scrolled up.
Yeah.
And so people have correlated that to this, where the first thing he says, "Watch out that no one deceives you. That man you will come in my name." They'll compare that to the white horseman that appears like mm-hmm. Christ but isn't.
Yes.
You've got the second one. You're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. You got the red horseman coming out with fighting and war. You got there'll be famines and earthquakes. The third horseman, mm-hmm. famines. All these are the beginning of labor pains. The fourth horseman kind of encompassing all of it with death of a quarter of the earth. And then the fifth seal, then they'll be handed over to be persecuted. They'll kill you. The fifth seal is persecution.
Right.
And then the sixth seal is this language right here. So we kind of skip down, and all of this language is very sixth seal language. And so a preterist view on that would basically be like, this is solely about the temple mm-hmm. being destroyed. Would they say the sixth seal culminates in the temple being destroyed?
I'm not 100% sure on that, probably.
Okay. And so...
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not as familiar with the preterist view to know where they would place things.
I don't want to put words in their mouth. Yeah. I'm not 100%, so...
So anyways, so there's some views that take all of this is completely fulfilled in the first century. Some views say none of this is fulfilled yet at all. It's going to be fulfilled in the future. And then there's some views that take a both and approach, that basically hold them both in tandem. We could talk for a long time about
yeah.
this.
We could do hours and hours on that. But I think it's pretty clear though. So I do think it's bifurcated. Like there is a near fulfillment and then constant. Well, I would go so far as to say there's more of a cycle of fulfillments. And then finally there will be a last one. But I do think primarily Jesus is getting at the destruction of the temple.
Yeah, it's tricky. So we talked about this before. It's about where does the telescoping happen?
Yeah.
And this is the same question as you get into Revelation. You get into passages, and there's passages that seem to talk about here and now, and then all of a sudden there's a very clear passage that's like, oh no, we're at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, when did we go from here to the end, and then when did we hop back? Because like you've got this verse 14 here, so you just got done explaining all that. Then the good news will of the kingdom will be proclaimed in all the world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're there. It's like now I think a preterist view would say this is just hyperbolic language.
Yeah.
To compare it to the temple,
right,
and coming where more eschatological fulfillment view would say no, he's talking about the end, the end.
Well, and there's a good, the good news of the kingdom will be proclaimed in all the world. I mean, that statement you could say today. Well, the gospel hasn't been proclaimed in all the world. I mean, there are people groups that haven't been reached yet. They're super isolated, or maybe the Bible hadn't been translated into their language.
Yeah.
I mean, all sorts of things. But then you could also make the argument that Scripture itself says that Paul, I'm blanking on which letter, but he talks about how the gospel has gone out to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, it's hard because you have to get into like kind of idiomatic language. Like when you say like, okay, to the ends of the world, what do they mean by that? Do they mean like literally to the ends of the world? Like literally every single people group, every single person has heard the gospel? Or does it mean that the gospel has gone out from this one location? To the which you could make an argument by AD 70, which is when the destruction of the temple happened.
It had gone out to the end of the world. It
had gone out to the end of the world. And so that's where if you read passages like this and you're like, oh, it's just clear. It's like,
it ain't.
You do a little bit. There's a lot of study and a lot of scholars on this, and when you get into even like linguistic study, it gets difficult because we've got written down words, and we have to take into account idioms and context and sayings, and that's where it gets tricky. And that's we've done a Revelation study with our small groups, and I'm always very quick to say, like, hey, I lean a certain way on interpretation, but I don't lean hard on it and like completely reject the others because it's confusing.
Oh, yeah.
To say it's not confusing is to just be either disingenuous or ignorant of the what's out there.
Right, exactly.
Anyways, so all that being said, you've got Jesus presenting this to the disciples, and what's important for our context, now we'll pull it in the sermon, is Lee really honed in on this last section right here, this verse 9 and 10, that then they will hand you over to be persecuted, and they will kill you. You will be hated by all nations because of my name. Then many will fall away, betray one another, hate one another, so on and so forth. And he correlated this. This is where he saw, Charlie Kirk's assassination having a somewhat of a fulfillment here, because it's an element of persecution. He was killed, likely partly for his conservative political beliefs, but also his Christian beliefs is what inspired his conservative political beliefs. Not that the two are exactly the same.
Correct.
But Charlie Kirk was very overtly a Christian. Like the way that he talked. I didn't listen to Charlie Kirk a whole lot, but I've listened to him enough to know that he's not a Christian in name only.
Right.
Like there's some politicians
Big time.
and speakers that are like that. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, but then they never talk about it. No, he talked a lot about it, and he was very overt about it, and he was very overt about not just saying we need to have Christian ideals, but actually, no, you need to go follow Jesus. And I do appreciate that about Charlie Kirk, is that he actually believed he actually believed what he said he believed. And so you have a case, a very public case, where a Christian was killed, at least partially, for their Christian beliefs. And how should we respond to that?
And that's exactly what the sermon was about, right? How to go about responding. And I mean, what I think is, first off, the first response, and I think Lee mentioned this, was we shouldn't be surprised when we're hated by people in the world who aren't Christians for the things that we believe and the outflow of our belief into our lives. It's like, you know, we live in the United States, right? We have the First Amendment, this which is great. This protection of religious liberty. The federal government isn't going to come and force us to be Roman Catholic or Anglican or whatever, you know.
Trumpian.
Yeah, right, or Trumpian maybe. Or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? And so we have this expectation of being able to exercise our religion freely, right, in the country. And so I think you know, with these expectations kind of comes this expectation of, like, you know, this kind of libertarian live and let live sort of an idea. And so when what happened to Charlie happened, I think that was eye-opening in a lot of ways, that no, just because we live in the United States doesn't mean that we can't be killed. And then, you know, so many people even celebrated that. And frankly, that should never shock us.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing. As the culture in which we live, let's be real, we have it easy.
Oh, yeah.
As Christians, we have it easy compared to most of history. Well, I don't know most of history, depending on which sect of Christianity you fall to. But in a lot of places, for a lot of history, we have it very easy. I mean, if you even look just in the first century, you've got two real heavy bouts of persecution from the Roman government with Nero in the 60s and Domitian in the 90s, where they were literally hunting Christians down and burning them at the stake, and tying them to animals and ripping them apart. That was just normal. And so, like, you know, we... the passages like this in Revelation for them would have rang completely different than it rings for us.
Big time.
Honestly, for us, we read these things and it's more of like a cool thought experiment.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, oh no, we're living this. We're you know, when it talks about the beast will rise up and the saints are being handed over to the beast to make war and to conquer them, they're like,
we've lived that. Absolutely.
And so I think you're right, and there's a sense that the church can become a little bit soft, and so we read passages like, you know, they hated me, they're going to hate you. Like, don't be surprised that a servant's not above his master. We read passages like this where it says, hey, you're going to be delivered over to persecution, but endure through it. We read passages like there's dozens of passages like that throughout the New Testament, and the church reads that, and in theory, we're like, yeah, we're ready. Yeah. But then it happens, and we're like, my rights, what's going on? Like, and don't get me wrong, like, the world back then was very different than the world is now. Like there was no democracy in the Roman government. There was no, hey, go and
not
try
in the first century anyway.
There was no, like, hey, let's go vote out this current guy to vote in the new guy to change legislation. I totally get that. It's a different time. And so I do think, on one hand, like, exercise your democratic rights to create laws so that Christians can operate freely. That's cool. I'm totally fine with that. But hold in the same hand. Don't expect to build God's kingdom here on earth. Like it's not going to happen unless you're post-millennial. The affect change as much as you can, but then hold in tandem that this world is not of God's kingdom, and so don't be surprised whenever it comes in opposition to God's kingdom.
Yep, exactly.
No.
And it thinking about it later, this was Sunday before. So Sunday before last, I was thinking about it, and Revelation 11 came to mind with the two witnesses.
The two witnesses, yeah.
So, full disclosure, as I read Revelation 11, I don't think that the two witnesses that it talks about are literally two different people. I don't think that there's literally fire that comes out of their mouths. It's symbolic language to describe the faithful church, and the faithful church bears witness to the gospel, which is the world and its people, its systems that aren't Christians here as judgment, and it is judgment for them that don't repent and have faith. And so what happens to the two witnesses? Well, they're killed. Their bodies are left in the streets, and the world and the people that live in it that aren't Christians have a big party. They have a celebration,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like so. For Revelation 11, I would say anytime throughout history that you have a similar kind of a situation, a martyr, it could be at least in part of a fulfillment of Revelation 11. And, ultimately there will be a final,
Mm-hmm.
a final martyr. I mean, there has to be if the world is going to end. But I also was thinking about that in relation to Charlie Kirk and what happened and the response, of so many people out there celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it says right here, like, why would we be surprised?
Well, and this is where I think, this is where rubber meets the road, because so we are moving into, and maybe have moved into, a post religious society. Before, at least, if you don't want to go far enough to say Christian or America was a Christian nation, at the very least you can say that it was founded on Christian ideals.
Oh yeah.
And so as the world has become more progressive and secular, we've moved further and further away from God. And the atheists would say that's fine. We have grown beyond God. Like some will, at least be at least accept the reality that religion had a good element to develop society and the morals around society. But they'll say, okay, but we don't need that anymore, right? Like we can. The morals are good. We'll keep the morals and we'll move forward with that. But let's leave the religion behind because it's just not real. And so they think that they can separate these two things out. And they'll say, like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, do you think people are just going to go start killing each other and whatnot? And they'll say that as like what a ridiculous thought. And maybe we might, because at the very least, here's what's happened. And there's two times this has happened within the past year, where you've got Charlie Kirk, and then also the CEO of United Health.
Yeah.
United Health. Yeah. Where he got shot down in the street. And the general consensus of at least social media that I saw was like, good. Yeah, let's celebrate this. And now I have no clue. I don't know anything about that CEO guy. This is not an endorsement of him at all. The bigger point that I want to make is that we're moving, the further away we get from God, the more that we're moving into a society where we're celebrating people being murdered. Yeah. Which is kind of scary. Like,
yeah.
So like you have a few people that will actually pull the trigger, but you have a whole host behind them that will cheer it on. Yeah. And what do you think that's going to do?
encourage more.
It's going to encourage more, and it's just as we you can't disconnect God from morality and expect morality to stay, right?
Especially when you pick and choose the morality and the framework of morality that you want to take forward.
And that's where like the cheering is justified in their minds, because this is a moral good that they're now dead. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know how we got on that.
And it's like, was it yesterday? The ICE shooting over in Dallas?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't been on Facebook a whole lot.
There was same kind of thing. That you have a guy that he was young, like mid 20s, late 20s maybe. Went and was shooting at ICE agents over in Dallas, and again, it's like we're seeing what seems to be cycles of this, and it's you have people that are cheering this on. I mean, what like. This is not how a country works. Yeah. You don't get to look at something that you don't like. And now we're getting off. This is getting maybe a little political, but you don't get to look at something that you don't like politically or as far as policy goes, and then go and take matters into your own hands. Right? That's not how a republic works.
Mm-hmm. And that's really, I think, what Jesus was getting at when he said, you've heard it said, an eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. If I say, love your neighbor, hate your enemy, or paraphrase, all that. I don't think what some have gone far enough to is say that this is pacifism, not only in the personal sense, but in the governmental sense. Like no death penalty, no anything, like whatever. I think he's more getting at kind of what you were just saying is, I don't think Jesus, and more broadly the Bible as a whole, is against the government enacting justice.
Oh, right.
There's passages that seem to clearly indicate that that's the role of the government.
Oh, yeah, big time. I would say that.
There's a wasp right there. You got a hat? Get him. Nice.
It's on camera, too.
Look at that.
He made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, where'd it go?
Oh, it only dazed him.
Oh, nice.
All right, he's dead now. I'll take care of that later.
Yeah, something about this room that wasp get into.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad you got him.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and watch that later.
Yeah. So, gosh, what was I saying now? I don't remember.
Oh, the proper role of government.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And...
So when Jesus was saying eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, I think he was talking about us personally. It's like, hey, the government has a role, and their role is to enact justice. Your role is not to be Batman.
Yeah.
Like you are not a personal.
Not Batman.
Yeah, you are not Batman. You are not the one that takes justice into your hands and goes and does that. That's the role of the government. Your role, however, is to respond with love, with prayer, with kindness, with endurance, and all that different stuff, which pulls us nicely back into the passage. Lee is asking, okay, we see this persecution going on that Jesus foretold was going to happen. Mm-hmm. How do we respond? Let's just go real quickly. First off, he says, don't be surprised if you're hated. We've talked about that already. Yeah, don't be surprised. Jesus said it was going to happen. Don't be the meme where it's like Christians, I'm ready to be persecuted. Christians, when persecuted. What?
Why am I being persecuted?
So don't be surprised if you're hated. He gave some disclaimers that actually I appreciated. He gave 3 of them on here. It's like, don't be careful not to have a martyr complex.
Yeah.
Just because someone's upset with you doesn't mean that you're being martyred or persecuted. There's two different things there. Don't be a victim in that. Don't constantly be like, like the world's just out to get us Christians. Like have a little bit more of a backbone than that. That even though in the midst of persecution, even legit persecution, there's never like a sulking. There's not meant to be like a sulking, like, woe is me about that. There's supposed to be a boldness. And you see that the disciples do this in Acts, that whenever they're threatened with death, they go out rejoicing because they're counted worthy to suffer for the name of Christ. That's not a victim.
Right.
Like they weren't out there like woe is me. They were like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's sing a song.
Now, easier said than done.
Oh, yes.
It's easy to act that way at the beginning. It's a lot harder when you're 10 years into it and all your friends have died. But the principle still stands true that through the midst of this, and this is really, I think, one of the main points of Revelation, like past all the details, is chapters 2 and 3 is a constant call to endure, to conquer. And then we get chapter 5, you have the Lamb who has conquered through his death. And so this call to endure and to conquer is through the ultimate Lamb's conquering on the cross and the resurrection. And so we walk around as victors, not victims. And then don't be hateful, and then blame Christ for your persecution. Gosh, I see this one all the time. Yeah. It's like they'll go do. I'll see people go do things that are clearly provocative.
Oh yeah.
And then when people respond accordingly, they're like, "Well, they hated Jesus. They'll help me." It's like, no, they're not. They're not upset with you because you love Jesus. They're upset with you because you're being a jerk.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
it's like when the kids are like, play fighting or wrestling, and then one of them gets hurt because they pushed it a little too far, and the other one retaliates. Then they start crying and whatever. It's like, you brought this on yourself, dude.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the first way to respond. Don't be surprised if you're hated. The second way is don't return hate for hate. We talked about this a little bit. That our job is not to be the justice of the world. Our job is to love one another, and Jesus said, you've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemies. But I say, love your enemies, pray for your enemies, all those things. And so, don't return hate for hate, and don't stare into the darkness.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
I thought.
It's easy to get just so focused on this, and I have a potentially hot take. I've talked to different people that have disagreed with me on this, but I don't know if it's good for us to have access to all the world's tragedies at our fingertips. I mean, go back to the first century. You would have heard about the big stuff.
Oh yeah.
But like your reach is what, within 10 million people, maybe. Maybe. Like, and that's like if something really big happens within the Roman Empire.
Like the fall of Rome in 410.
Yeah.
Like that horrified and shocked everybody.
Yeah.
Like that was huge. But, wars and even probably murders the next town over.
Yeah. You just, how would you hear about it?
You might have heard after a little while.
Yeah.
It just depends,
Where now, man, we just have access to literally the entire world's tragedies at our fingertips. Like anything going on, and you have access to it, and not only like descriptions of it, video of it. I've had to be careful to just not even watch these videos going around because I don't want to see them. Yeah. There's just things that I think we gotta be careful to guard our heart, that we're not filling ourselves with darkness and darkness in that. Not turning a blind eye, but just being careful. And then lastly, don't forget to pray. We talked about, in this passage, there's that call to endurance, and all throughout Revelation, there's that call to endurance. Well, how do we conquer as Christ has conquered? All through the Spirit, through prayer. This is Jesus' commission in Matthew 28. Go make disciples, and lo, I'll be with you until the end of the age. Well, how do we access that? Through the Spirit, through prayer, and through communion with God. So. Yeah, sorry, I just kind of
rapid fire.
I rapid fired that just because we spent a lot of time on the front end. But any thoughts?
I thought it was good. I have to admit, I did see the video.
The Charlie Kirk one.
There were 3 different angles, and it was that time when, it was that time when, they had reported that he had been shot, but there was like no indication one way or another whether he was going to be okay. And somebody said, well, he had been shot in the neck, and it's like, well, maybe based on a couple of the angles, it's like maybe it was the shoulder, maybe he'll be okay. And then there was a more close up one, and no, there was no chance of surviving that. And I have to admit, like, it made me angry. to see that and to watch that, and so I think I do think that the sermon was good, and and hey, we want to respond in a way that honors Christ, that glorifies God, and I don't think it's wrong to be upset with those kinds of things, with these kinds of things, but loving our enemies, forgiving them, praying for those who persecute or would cheer if you were killed, are all huge.
Well, and that's an important disclaimer. Like, two things can be true at once. Yeah. The Christian life is holding things in tandem with each other. And so, like we mentioned earlier, like I believe the Bible has no issue with the government upholding and enacting justice.
100%.
Yet God calls us personally to show grace, to offer forgiveness, redemption, all that different stuff. And so those two things can hold in tandem at once. And so on one hand, you can desire justice amongst his killer and amongst the people cheering it on. You can desire that the government will step in. Well, maybe not amongst the people cheering it on, because then it gets into like a weird free speech thing. Yeah. That it's their own personal consequences that might flow from that. But at the very least, within the killer killing him, you can, on one hand, desire justice within that. But then you also need to hold in the other hand corporately justice, personally grace, forgiveness, all those things. Those two things can live amongst each other,
and they should live together. I 100% agree. And I think there's a lot of confusion about that's out there. So for those that watched, even parts of the memorial that they had out in Arizona on Sunday for Charlie, on one hand you had Erica Kirk, who comes out and says that she forgives the young man who took her husband's life, and then on the other hand, and so there's like this message of forgiveness, right? You have these apologists or pastors going up there, saying, hey, we need to have grace, and we need to be able to forgive, those sorts of things. And then on the other hand, you have others that spoke that are like, hey, we're going to do justice, and we're going to enact this, and like we're going to come down as hard as we can. And I think like you said, it's important to recognize that those two things are not mutually exclusive. Like, you have to have both, because the proper role of government is to seek justice in that. Like, we get that all the way back after, like with the Noahic covenant. We don't get to murder, but if you do, the government is there to step in to do justice, right, as God's agent. And so that is true on one hand, but that doesn't mean that we don't forgive personally, individually, and pray at the same time. Like, the same things are true. Like, if he's guilty, if he's tried and found guilty, then he'll be the killer will be executed. But at the same time, if he repents and turns to Christ, then he'll get to go to heaven as well. But even if he repents and has faith, that doesn't mean that this temporal punishment goes away, right? Like the two are both are true at once.
Yep, for sure. Okay, well, that's we talked a lot about that.
We could keep going.
Yeah, we can keep going. There's a lot in the Olivet Discourse. But yeah, that's a little bit on that. Go read that whole passage. It's fascinating, confusing at times, and if you're a person that likes to go down rabbit holes, that's one that you can go down.
You take the red pill, and I show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, it goes pretty deep. So now we're going to move into our bad doctrine of the week.
It's the bad doctrine of the week.
Okay, we've got one from our friend, the Holy Nope. I'll say our friend. He doesn't know who we are.
He has no idea.
I don't know who he is. I have looked him up before. Did you know? So he's part of a church. I don't know the name of the church, but some small church. like on the church's website under ministries, it has the Holy Note.
That's awesome.
It is a church ordained ministry for them.
Pure discernment.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So
I also like the videos. So like 99% of them are nope, the Holy Note, and then every once in a while you'll hit one that's like hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Instead of nope, and I like those. Those are kind of fun.
Okay. All right. Here's where. So I titled this stream. Did the rapture happen? Because I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Or is that what I titled it?
It was Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Did the rapture happen?
It was supposed to be Tuesday.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I had a friend in the church. He texted me that day. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where he texted me. He's like, "Happy Rapture Day. Are you still here?" And I wanted to just not respond. Just to to communicate. Yeah.
This number has been disconnected.
Yeah. I should have done that. Oh, funny. Yes. Okay. So, in case you don't know, apparently the rapture was supposed to happen on September 23rd. I think there was actually an estimate.
Yeah.
I think from the 22nd to the 24th.
Yeah.
But
it's the 25th now. So.
25th. So we're for sure past the estimated time. And I did not go down the rabbit trail of why that is. Apparently has something to do with the Feast of Trumpets and whatnot. Anyways, clearly we are past that, and the rapture has come and gone. Maybe it did come. I mean, we're just not part of it. I don't know. But as far as we can tell, it did not happen. Here's a video that I presume came out before September 23rd. Let's just watch. Oops.
Beautiful day. Got my Bible. I'm ready to go.
The rapture is on September 23rd this year on the Feast of Trumpets, 2025, and we know that the darkness is also coming 2 days before it on September 21st this year, 2025. It's going to be 3 days of darkness. This video is a short and quick one. It's just regarding one fact about the 3 days of darkness when the rapture will happen in the middle of it. My wife asked me to share this detail with everybody because I didn't share it with anyone. I haven't shared it with anyone, but my wife told me that God spoke to her. God wants me to share this with everybody. So it's just a simple fact that during the 3 days of darkness, God is going to keep the temperature of the earth at 55 degrees. It's not going to be freezing, but it's not going to be warm. So make sure that you have your blankets and a jacket and something to keep you warm. But also, guys, as I was going home today, I had spread the gospel to this wonderful family and accepted it wonderfully. And I'm talking about the gospel of this revelation about how the rapture is in 8 days, almost 7 on the Feast of Trumpets this year. And look what I saw driving down the street. That's right, 726. Now we all know that 726 means harpazo, to be caught up, to be snatched up, rapture. It's the day of salvation, guys. So lock in. Seriously, this is the real deal. This is worth investing your entire life into because this is not going to fall to the ground.
Nope.
Okay, first, what made me want to show this one is I saw 726, and we all know what 726 means. Yeah. It's just common knowledge that that's the lexicon equivalent to
to rapture.
Yeah, I just found that funny. All right, you got any thoughts?
Oh gosh.
Keep in mind your thoughts are going out to the world. Okay. keep them tame.
So, first off, the first thing that irritated me about this guy was his wife. God has apparently been talking to his wife. Mm-hmm. And said he's going to keep the earth at a constant temperature of 55 degrees. Not too hot, not too cold. Get your blankets. And she wanted her husband, I guess, to be sure that the world knew that what the weather report was for the next couple of days. And so that number one, that irritates me. It's like, no, I don't think God told you that at all.
By the way, I would have been okay with 55 degrees.
I would have been great.
Dude, it's hot.
It's just we're
in Texas. It's hot here.
Man, I'm looking forward to those 55-degree mornings.
Yeah.
I will say that. And it sounds great, but unfortunately, you can't manifest that. That's not how it works. Seasons are constant, and That's actually in God's word, right? It doesn't say anywhere about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, presumably.
If the sun is blackened,
I guess then
it's going to get cooler.
It would be cooler, I suppose. Yeah. So that was the first thing is, this. So as a follow-up to that, he said, oh, yeah, and there was this really nice family that I shared the gospel of this word with.
Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah, and it's like, no, like, bad. Like, what gospel are you sharing? The one where your wife is receiving revelation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, they don't need that gospel. They need the gospel. The gospel.
Yeah,
of
there
Christ.
was speaking of Charlie Kirk, there was a clip with him talking to Michael Knowles. Charlie Kirk is overtly Christian, at least Protestant.
Yeah.
And Michael Knowles is overtly Catholic, Christian. And they were kind of going back and forth, and they're friends, so a lot of this was tongue in cheek. But Charlie asked him, it's like, hey, whenever you're trying to convert someone, are you trying to convert them to follow Jesus or to Catholicism? And
I saw that.
And Michael Knowles kind of like hesitated a little bit, because it's easy to get those lines crossed, and I think sometimes you get so deep down the rabbit hole of end times that you start to conflate your view of the end times with the gospel.
Right.
And those are two different things.
Very different.
Yeah. We're in spreading the gospel, our goal isn't to get people to align with our systematic beliefs outside of, obviously like Orthodox, what it takes to be saved. We're talking about secondary, tertiary issues. Our goal is not to get people to align with our systematic beliefs on those secondary issues. Our goal is to, in the gospel, get people to know Christ, and salvation of their sins, and through His cross and resurrection. So yeah, I caught that too.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was maybe the worst part of it. And then the random numbers. You can make numbers do whatever you want. We've been over this one, where I don't know if you saw the. I guess it was that Wednesday that the assassination took place. There were reports that, and then, there was an earthquake, and then in Utah, however many miles away, and the time of that was this time, and translate that to John, whatever, and boom, there's a verse. Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? It's like, dude, did you use Mountain Time or did you use Eastern Time? Like there's so much. Like,
are we doing Jewish calendar or
right, exactly
the lunar calendar or the?
It's like, y'all, you can make it the numbers do whatever you want to an extent, and so it's like, is this earthquake God sending a message that for this passage? Probably not. I mean, could the earthquake be something significant? Sure. I wouldn't say no, but can we for certainty say that God is pointing us to this particular verse when anyway, it's the same kind of thing as the video, right? I saw the 713 or whatever it was. And
726.
Yeah, 72. Yeah, whatever it was.
I mean, as we all know.
That everybody knows. Yeah. Clearly it means rapture, to be seized up and
snatched up.
Yeah.
Get it right, Jacob.
Which is funny because, it goes back to, it's Latin, the rapture, and it just means to seize or to, what did you say?
Snatch up.
Snatch up, yeah. So it's funny that he's throwing even the different languages out there, like Latin of all things. Like, why are we throwing out the Latin? Latin had nothing to do with Revelation. It was Greek, so... What are we?
That word's not even in Revelation.
What are we doing? I know, right?
That'd be 1 Thessalonians.
Right, exactly. And like to be caught up, and it's our Anyway, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Chris? Do you have any other thoughts?
So my biggest thought, and a lot of people that we know in our circles would never go down these rabbit holes. There's some that might, that we closet rabbit hole people that we don't know.
There's a few that,
but at the very least, these things do pick up momentum, and people do fall for these things, and just take Jesus' words to heart. And I think Paul even mentioned this too. It's like, hey, people are going to say, I think this was Paul's point in First Thessalonians, if my memory serves me correct. It's like, hey, people are going to say Jesus came back. Like, stop, just stop listening to them.
Yeah. You
like,
didn't miss it.
Yeah,
You'll know.
Yeah, you'll know. And so don't get caught up in people saying, "Oh, look, there's the Christ, like he's coming." And we have precedent in the Bible say, "Don't listen to those people."
Mm-hmm.
That's always like tied with like, "Oh, it's coming! Like you better get ready now. You better get ready now," which I agree with, but don't tie it to this like specific date. There's all sorts of passages that talk about be ready, but it's not in the sense of it's happening in a week, get ready. It's in the sense of it can happen at any moment, so be ready. And you're pulling up the passage,
Matthew 24.
In the passage that we talked about today.
Yeah, a little further down. But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, sorry, I should have waited for you. For as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will the coming of so will be the coming of the Son of Man, right? 2 men left in a field. 2 men will be in a field. One will be taken, one left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, one left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. And we can probably pause right there, but it's like we don't know. Like the point isn't for us to know when. The point is for us to be ready.
Yeah, and the question is always like, are we in the end times? Are we in the end times? Is Jesus coming back soon?
Yes.
I think we've been in the end times ever since Jesus was resurrected.
Yep.
Now, does that mean that like, we need to measure it out? Like, we got so many years and so forth? No, it's and I don't even mean that in some like baggage sense of like we need to tie to all these revelation events. It's just in the sense of like we don't know when he's coming back, and we are in the end times. Like it's like he's gonna come back soon. We don't know when that's gonna be. Every generation says, "Oh, now we're in the end times," or now he's come back for sure. Like it's worse than it's ever been before. First off, that's debatable. Yeah. There's always an ebb and flow of morality and religious awakenings and growing cold and all that stuff. And so we should see those not as like, it's happening, but as the Bible calls us to. These are labor pains. Like these are contractions that's going to happen. There's we both have wives who have had babies. In the labor and in contractions, there's times of like, everything's fine. And then there's times of like serious, like, it's happening.
Yep.
Nah, it's not happening.
Yep.
It's happening. And then it just grows and grows and grows and grows until it happens.
Right. And
so our goal isn't to figure out, now's the time it's happening. Our goal is to just recognize, we're in the contractions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we are the husband sitting idly by, just waiting. We're there. We want to be prepared,
that's
right?
Christ, Jacob.
Okay.
Christ is the husband of the church.
Yes, but I was trying to work with your analogy. Yes. What is our role in this whole birthing thing? It's like, I don't know. Maybe it didn't quite work.
So did the rapture happen? I think we could safely say no.
Safely say,
it did not. But be ready, not because it's going to happen in any specific date, but because Christ called us to be ready any time.
That's right.
All right. You got anything else?
I thought it was good. I'm sad we didn't have more time to talk about the Olivet Discourse in more depth, but that's we would need hours.
Yeah, that would take a while.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on the Digging Deeper podcast.